Good day, everyone. I'll start our report with the article Education, Language Policy, and Language Use in the Philippines, written by Lorraine P. Symaco. And I am your first reporter, Unti Siti Halima Mangutara. In this article, the author explains how language policy plays a big role in shaping education, especially in today's globalized world. As countries become more connected, education systems are adjusting to meet the demands of a knowledge-based economy where knowledge and skills are the main sources of development. Because of globalization, governments now design education policies that help people compete internationally while also meeting local cultural needs. And language is a key part of this process because the language used in schools affects students' access to learning, fairness in opportunities, and their success in society. The article also points out that English has become the language of globalization. It plays a major role in education and employment around the world, but at the same time, its dominance influences how other local languages and cultures are valued. Moving on to the next slide, this part talks about how language policy is connected to power, access, and control in society. According to Lorraine P. Symaco, language does not only serve as a tool for communication, but it also gives people power and agency, or simply the ability to act and to take part in society. Language often decides who gets access to education, better jobs, and social influence. Those who can speak the dominant or official language, especially English, usually have more opportunities for success. The article also mentions that language policies can reflect a country's political goals and priorities. For example, some governments promote certain languages to strengthen national identity, while others choose English to support modernization and global competitiveness. In short, language policy is not just about teaching a language. It also affects who holds power, who gets opportunities, and how people see themselves in a global society. For the third slide, I'll talk about how different countries use language policy to balance modernization and national identity. In the article, Lorraine P. Symaco gives examples from Southeast Asia, such as Singapore, Malaysia, and Brunei, to show how language policy reflects power and progress. In Singapore, English is used as the main language for schools and business because it is seen as the language of modernity. At the same time, the government still supports ethnic languages to keep each group's identity. In Malaysia, the government focuses on the Malay language to promote national unity. However, this sometimes limits modernization because English is still important for international communication and higher education. Brunei also uses a bilingual system where English is taught alongside the national language. This helps the country stay competitive in a global economy. These examples show that language policy can serve two purposes. It can protect national identity, but it also helps a country connect globally and stay modern. For this slide, I'll explain how English became the global language of choice. The article says that English has spread all over the world because of globalization and the internationalization of education and business. It is now used in almost every country in schools, technology, science, and international communication. According to the British Council, 1 out of every 5 people in the world speaks English or lives in a country where it isn't an official language. This shows how powerful and widespread English has become. The author also mentions that speaking English is often seen as a sign of success and opportunity. Many people believe that learning English will help them find better jobs, study abroad, or connect with others globally. However, while English gives access to global opportunities, it also raises concerns about cultural balance because its choice can make local languages and traditions less valued. English is now the main language for education and communication worldwide, but this global dominance also affects how other languages survive in modern society. Now let's talk about the effects of English dominance, how it creates both opportunity and inequality. According to Lorraine P. Symaco, the spread of English around the world has given people access to education, business, and better jobs. However, it has also created a gap between those who speak English well and those who do not. Some scholars describe this as linguistic imperialism, which means that English is used as a form of power that often favors Western countries and their culture. Because of this, English is not just a neutral language, it can also spread social inequality and make other languages seem less important. The article says that while English is seen as a global unifier, it can also cause cultural loss by pushing aside local languages and traditions. This is especially true in countries like the Philippines, where people believe that speaking English brings more opportunities even it weakens the use of their native languages. In short, English gives people the chance to connect globally but also challenges cultural identity and equality among different language groups. To end my part, here's the key message of this discussion. The article by Lorraine P. Symaco reminds us that English has truly become the language of education and opportunity. It gives people better chances to study, work, and connect internationally. However, this global rise of English also affects how we value our own local languages and cultures. As English becomes more dominant, smaller or native languages may lose their importance or even disappear over time. That's why the author suggests finding a balance. We should use English to open global doors, but at the same time, we must continue to protect and promote our local languages as part of our identity. Thank you so much, and that would be all.